obviously he is, but I would also like to add that he's been a terrific father. I'm very good at this. He had to bring up 3 children who are, let's just say, not gifted in the area of science, and he did a very good job of it. He holds a wide array of patents. I believe it's in the 90s at this point, the number that he has. But the one that, in my opinion, brings a smile to people's faces every time is what you just saw up here, the drinking bird. It's also called the bottle bird. And I have a few questions for Dad. Some of these questions I don't know the answers to, so we'll find out. Am I right, Dad, that one president of the United States owned one and talked about it at one point?
Oh, yes.
And that was...
Herbert Hoover.
Okay. And around that same time, I don't know if it was before or after, Einstein also got a hold of one, and if you could kind of relay what happened with that.
Einstein spent all day, one day, and I can't remember, I don't think I was involved in saying to him, well, why don't we just ask Miles how it works? And he said, oh, no, that was split. So he went all day without getting a description of how it worked.
Sure. Let's move on and find out how you first had the idea for this. I have a clue, but I'd like to hear it from you. Your first inkling that you could build this machine.
I don't know how many of you remember in the old days, they would have a machine, what do they call it? Jukebox. Usually have a roundish top. And as a decoration on them, they had a tube that would go up and around and down. And they would generate air bubbles at the bottom, and they would go up and around the tube and then back down again. And when I saw that, my first thought was, what a waste of energy, we can do more than that. See, the bubbles are moving, but I thought it would be much more fun to use those bubbles to make something in motion. And so the first thing I thought of was making a drinking bird. It's the same mechanism.
And how did you get the materials to build your first one?
I was a chemist. I taught glass blowing, so that was...
So you blew your own containers, basically.
Oh, yes.
And Dad, do I remember correctly, I've been thinking of magazine articles and newspaper articles I've read over the years, do I remember correctly that there was a project considered for some of the arid areas of the Middle East, that they could use this concept of the drinking bird to irrigate parts of the land in the Middle East? Am I right about that?
Yeah, what they did was to make a bird, well, I think they're about 15 feet tall, and all they had to feed it, this is down in the southern part of Egypt. In Egypt. All you have to do is supply with water. Water is available, cheap. And this was then, this is about 15 foot, 12 to 15 feet tall. That would then generate enough energy to literally pump water out of a nearby lake or whatever else is nearby. And it could then transfer it up to a city where it was used.
There's much more we could talk about, but I know time is limited, so I'm going to tell a little story on him, if that's okay. Growing up in this household was lots of fun, as you can imagine, and my all-time favorite part of growing up, and I'm sad to say that I bought into this. Dad's quite a trickster. he told all of us kids and all the neighborhood kids that a spaceship had landed in the backyard. Martians had come out, they were very friendly, he had kept them. And, we were in the living room, and as he was talking, his hand would get closer and closer to the floor. In his hand were little metal shavings. I'm not as smart as he is, but I'm smart enough to know that there was no battery inside. They were tiny shavings, no energy source within these. But they started moving in the palm of his hand. And then he would go down to the floor, and they would walk off the palm of his hand and start marching around the living room floor. And he'd say, "You see, kids, I've taught the Martians how to march." What he had done, most of you smarter people here can guess, he had gone down to the basement and put a magnet on the floor, on the ceiling of the basement with an old record player. Put a table on the record player, so the record player was running around with a flat surface, and the magnet was chugging along with it. And my sister, who's older, said, "Andy, do not realize that those Martians could only travel one direction." That was only the surface of comfort. Never agreed with me, but he told people all the time. And we were really Einstein for a while, so I don't feel too bad. But anyway, if you have any more questions afterward, I think we'll be sticking around. So thank you, Dad. We have a little person for you. Hi, my name is Amy Martin. Nice to meet you. I have a certificate that we have made for you from the ChemCon 2011 committee. It says, to Miles Sullivan, for his invention of the digging group. Chemistry teachers everywhere have appreciated your contribution to our efforts to educate and inspire students. Thank you for your contribution. And we also have a Chalmers book that we want to give you. We've had a company living here, you might as well know a little bit about the territory.
Oh, that's great. And I assume that there's a big check inside.